Welcome to the hot seat with Mr. White on Always Remember that all these stories is allegedly, so thanks for watching.
I know some guys who worked personally with Clive Davis, and they had to leave him before they hurt. I would say, if you tried it with them guys, why you didn't try it with him?
That there was a party at Clive Davis's house, and that's where the story began. Clive Davis's house.
If Clive Davis says, I no longer want to be associated with you, what you gonna do then? I guarantee you, if Clive cut you loose, you done, nigga. You're done.
Clive Davis, saved Puff after he was thrown out of Uptown Records by Andre Harrell.
Check out the picture. It seemed like everybody go to jail or end up dead but you.
Hey there, music lovers. Have you ever wondered what dark forces may have been at play behind the mysterious deaths of some of our greatest music icons? Well, prepare to have your minds blown because new details have surfaced confirming what many of us have long suspected. Clive Davis, the music industry mogul, may have had a hand in Diddy's celebrity murders and many others. Who knew the music industry was more cutthroat than a sword fight in Game of Thrones? Speaking of mysterious deaths in the music industry, let's talk about Janis Joplin and Whitney Houston, two iconic singers whose untimely demises have left us scratching our heads. Janis, the queen of rock and roll, passed away at the tender age of 27 from a heroin overdose mixed with a bit of alcohol. Some conspiracy theorists have speculated that her death may not have been an accident, but the official report says otherwise. Still, it's hard not to wonder if there was more to the story. And then there's Whitney Houston, a legend taken from us far too soon. She was found dead in a Beverly Hills hotel bathtub in 2012 with cocaine in her system and bruises on her body. To make matters even creepier, there was some guy named Nick Gordon lurking around at the time of her death. Was he involved in her tragic end? It's hard to say, but when Jaguar Wright seemingly confirms the speculation, it definitely makes you go hum.
Viola Brown, Bobby Brown's sister, has said on several occasions that she was beat. They saw her body.
The court did hold him responsible for the death of Houston's daughter, Bobby Christina Brown, who died in a strikingly similar fashion 5 years later. Jaguar also said this about how Clive wanted to use Whitney.
He needed her back.
Oh, yeah.
He needed her back. But he needed her back and under his control.
Sure, there have been rumors and conspiracy theories about what really happened, but the real culprit may be more insidious than we ever imagined. Enter Clive Davis, the mastermind behind Arista Records and the man responsible for signing legends like Janis Joplin and Whitney Houston. But here's the kicker, Davis was more interested in churning out hit records and raking in profits than actually helping his artists with their addictions. He knew about Joplin and Houston's struggles, but instead of getting them the help they needed, he turned a blind eye. Shameful, right? That's not all, folks. The sordid history of artist deaths, criminal convictions, and harmful vices at Sean Combs' Bad Boy Entertainment record label, which was connected to Clive Davis, is well known in the industry. Sean Combs, also known as Puffy, P, Diddy, and Diddy, signed artists to his Arista Records imprint, Bad Boy. But unfortunately, many of them met with disaster. It's a cautionary tale about the dark side of the music industry where the allure of fame and fortune can sometimes come at a devastating cost. The tragic death of Notorious Big, one of the greatest rappers of all time, rocked the music world to its core. And he's not the only one. Shine, a budding artist at the time, went to jail for attempted murder, and G-Dep was convicted of murder and sent to prison. Craig Mack and Black Rob passed away at a young age due to poor health, with whispers and rumors surrounding Black Rob's sexual health for years. Even more heartbreaking is the story of Lil Gerald, who was just 11 when he developed schizophrenia due to the disturbing things he was exposed to in the industry. It's a bleak reminder that the price of fame can be staggeringly high. But it wasn't just the artist who suffered. The Hitmen, a group of producers responsible for churning out Bad Boy's many successes, fell prey to the label's culture of excess, which included rampant cocaine use and sexual debauchery. The destructive habits that were celebrated within the label led to many people's lives being ruined. And if you thought things couldn't get any worse, hold on to your hats. Diddy, the man behind Bad Boy, was accused of having sexual relations with underage boys during a government investigation that included Usher, who was only 15 at the time. On top of that, Diddy allegedly made it incredibly difficult for TLC to leave Clive Davis's label by snitching on them. It's a chilling reminder that the music industry can be a dark and dangerous place where people's lives are shattered in the pursuit of fame and fortune.
Puffy was the one that snitched us out. Yo, B, yo, your girl's up here mad bugging, yo. And I was like, oh, Puff, why you gonna snitch us out, dog?
Once upon a time, there were two handsome guys from Europe, Fabrice Morvan and Rob Pilatus, who had a great desire to become pop stars. With their catchy songs and fancy dance moves, they soon became famous as Milli Vanilli. However, the shocking truth later emerged that they were only lip syncers hired for their good looks. As soon as this revelation came to light, their Grammy for Best New Artist was taken away, leaving their fans disappointed and frustrated. Despite the scandal, Milli Vanilli's Girl You Know It's True album, distributed by the legendary music industry mogul Clive Davis, sold over 1 million copies. But Clive and Arista Records were quick to abandon the duo, and people started to wonder if Clive had known about their lip syncing all along. Rumors circulated that since Clive was only interested in money, he tried to capitalize on Milli Vanilli's popularity in Europe by bringing them to the United States. Frank Farian, a music producer known for his fraudulent schemes, deceived 2 young men from Germany, Rob and Fab, by offering them a record deal that they believed would launch their music career. However, it was later discovered that Farian had no intention of allowing them to sing, as he considered them untalented. Instead, he made them lip sync to pre-recorded tracks. Their deception was exposed in 1990 when a track they were lip syncing to during a live performance on national television skipped, causing it to repeat the words "Girl You Know It's, Girl You Know It's, Girl You Know It's." This revelation triggered a media frenzy and a public backlash, leading to the downfall of Milli Vanilli. The aftermath of the scandal was catastrophic. Rob, who had struggled with addiction due to the music industry's pressures, was found dead at a hotel room in Germany in 1998. He died from an overdose of alcohol and prescription pills. Fab, on the other hand, found it challenging to cope with the backlash, including the revocation of their Grammy Award for Best New Artist. Although he tried to pursue a solo career, he was never able to escape the shadow of the scandal. The story of Milli Vanilli is just one small part of the dubious history of music producer Frank Farian. Farian had a long track record of deception that stretched back to his early days in the music industry. In the 1970s, he stole a song from reggae legend Prince Buster and inadvertently stumbled upon a new genre of music that he would exploit for decades to come. Farian began producing reggae and disco music under the name Boney M, but his own vocals were so ambiguous that listeners couldn't tell if it was a woman or a man singing. He added 2 Jamaican women to the group who actually sang and were unaware of the deception until it was too late. Boney M went on to sell an astounding 80 million albums worldwide, making Farian millions. According to reports, Frank Farian lured Rob Pilatus and Fabrice Morvan, who went by the name Milli Vanilli, into a contract in the 1980s. The 2 aspiring singers were promised a signing fee of $4,000, which they used for basic needs and to improve their image as instructed by Farian. The name Milli Vanilli was suggested by Farian and was based on his girlfriend's name and a popular song at the time. Frank Farian, the music producer, believed that Rob Pilatus and Fabrice Morvan's vocals were mediocre and had no intention of allowing them to sing on their debut album. Instead, he hired session singers to sing on the track Girl You Know It's True without informing the duo. The session singers were not told that their voices would be fronted by Rob and Fab, and Farian kept them apart while making them sign non-disclosure agreements. Despite the success of the album with Rob and Fab's photo on the cover, the truth eventually came out, and the duo wanted out of their contract after discovering the deception. Farian threatened them with legal action for violating the non-disclosure agreement. One of the session singers attempted to expose the scandal, but Farian bribed and threatened him to keep quiet. The scandal had devastating consequences, and Rob Pilatus lost his life as a result. He expressed regret for the deception before his death. It's important to note that Farian could have avoided the scandal by allowing Rob and Fab to perform on the album, transposing the music to keys more suited to their voices, and using the session singers as backup vocals. The girl group TLC generated an impressive $500 million in music sales, making music mogul Clive Davis and his record company BMG millions. However, as an attorney, Davis structured their contracts poorly, resulting in TLC receiving very little compensation from their initial deal. Davis and BMG profited immensely from TLC's success, while the group suffered financially.
Because we were getting sick and sweating and, we was like really working hard for this money. And we wanted to know who the hell had our check.
Adding insult to injury, TLC's founder and manager Pebbles was unfairly blamed for the situation. Despite Davis making far more money than she or the imprint label, Left Face Records, founded by La Raid and Babyface, ever did from TLC. This injustice should be corrected in music history books. Tragically, Lisa Left Eye Lopes, a member of TLC, suffered from undiagnosed schizophrenia, which caused her to behave erratically and led her astray. She was involved in 2 accidents that resulted in the deaths of children. In the first incident in Atlanta, Left Eye forgot to set the parking brake due to her illness, and her friend's baby tragically died as a result. The second occurred in Honduras, where she hit a little boy crossing the road. Tragically, while driving erratically and swerving to avoid oncoming traffic, Left Eye was involved in a fatal car accident a week later. She was the only fatality, while others suffered minor injuries. It is reported that Clive Davis, a music mogul and founder of the record company BMG, was aware of Lisa's issues, including her mental illness and drug and alcohol problems, and the trouble she instigated between the group, Pebbles, and Leatface. However, Davis prioritized profits over her well-being and failed to take action. This was a terrible tragedy that ultimately cost Lisa her life. It remains to be seen whether Davis will be held accountable for his actions on a larger scale. That's all for today, folks. Thanks for watching.